Hello and welcome to this ROBO Deck Designer video. I'm Paul and this video here is really about the ROBO Deck Designer website. I've done a video before on the online tool, but this one here is all about the rest of the website. There's some great resources out there on the website and stuff that's going to really help you. So let's just jump straight into it and have a look at it anyway. Thanks. Okay, so on the left hand side we've got the button which you hit to get started to use online tool, and on the right hand side we've got the YouTube video which shows just how fast and easy it is actually to create some deck drawings, and below that on the right hand side we've got the sample drawings and some general information, a summary really on just how to go about designing a deck. It's like a summary of all the pages on the website. Okay, so the next page is why use ROBO Deck Designer. So this page here really is just totally about really why would you want to use it, and just showing the advantages of actually using it. On the right hand side there's some sample website forms which you have to fill in to create your drawings, and below is sample drawings as well. And the next page, how this website is different. There's nothing like this website, there's nothing like this in New Zealand or even Australia, and the design there, gosh, this is one which I created from one overseas. Now I'm not trying to knock the software which actually produced this result here, but I don't think I'd like to walk up those steps there. I doubt if you'd ever be able to get a length of timber that long for the stringers for the steps, but yeah. Now the next web page on design considerations is really about all the things which you need to consider when designing a deck. So the information here is the purpose of the deck, the location, the budget, building code and resource consent, and also whether you can build it yourself. This will impact on the cost of the deck and also the style of the deck itself as well. Now the consent process, there's a bit behind this, and this actually just gives you information about what sort of consent do you need. So basically there's three types. There's the building consent, the raw resource consent, and also the code of compliance. So this web page gives some more information about this. The sun angle calculator, the sun angle is actually a factor in the design of a deck. You really want to capture the sun, but you might capture too much sun. So there's a really good link there to a sun calculator which can work out any location in the world, the angle of the sun, the sunrise, the sunset, how high, the shadows, and all sorts of things like that. So it's a great resource. Now with the technical resources here, for building a deck there's quite a number of building codes you need to meet, the main one being NZS 3604, but there's other ones as well. So there's links here where you can actually download all those documents, and at the bottom of the page there's a link to all the local authorities around New Zealand. The next section on this website is decks on this website. So the decks are actually split into three different types. There's the low decks, the pergola decks, and the medium height decks. So this these web pages here just show all the different deck designs you can actually create using ROBO Deck Designer. So there's quite a number of them. So the low ones there's all those different shapes, and we'll just get on to the pergola decks in just a moment. So here's the pergola decks. Now some of these decks here are only between 450 millimeters high. The rest of them are up to 700 millimeters high. So there's details there on which decks are limited in that area there. And now the medium height decks, sorry. Yeah, so these between 700 and 1500 millimeters high. There's also, with all these decks here, there's actually designs which can go against a continuous straight wall, or other ones which actually can be used in a corner an internal corner of a building. And the other web page in this area here is the bill of materials. Now, a bill of material is a list of materials. So with ROBO Deck Designer, this actually creates a document where you can actually print out the list of materials to create a deck. Now, with the material section, this has got a web page on bearers. Now, the size of a bearer is taken from the tables. So these tables depending on the grade of the bearer, but there's also other factors as well. There's the cantilevered distance at the end of the bearer, and also the connection to the bearers to post as well. And also at the top of the page you can see there the loaded dimension. Now this affects things as well. Now there's a web page there on joists used on decks, and there's quite a bit behind this. There's the tables for the different grades, but also there's other factors as well, like blocking, and also if you've got a cantilever deck and you've got handrails on the deck, and it affects the sizes as well. So there's a lot of information there. For the posts web page, now there's 3 different type of posts. There's the anchor piles, brace piles and normal piles, and so this web page gives information about also the connection between the bearer and the post as well, and also joining 2 lengths of bearers together where generally timber is not available longer than 6 metres or just over that. So there's information there just how they join together and connected to a post. So with the decking web page there, there's not a lot on that page, but there's requirements there for the spacing of joists and that for the decking timbers. Now the next section on the ROBO Deck Designer website is all about New Zealand building codes. So the first page is NZS 3604. This is the main document that you'd need for creating a deck to meet the building codes. It would account for probably about 80% of the design requirements. A lot of the stuff's not actually relevant for decks, but yeah, it's a very useful document here. Safety from falling. Now let's just click on this. Now if your deck is more than 1 metre above the ground, you need some handrails there, and this is just information here about the barrier height and the types that you can actually have. So the next page on the ROBO Deck Designer website is actually step design. So there's 2 different types of steps actually used on the design decks from ROBO Deck Designer. There's steps for decks from 700 to 1500 millimeters high, and just lower decks as well from 400 to 700 millimeters high. The higher decks have a handrail, which is actually required for any deck more than 1 metre above the ground. So the next section here is actually bracing design. So this web page here actually has a online tool to give you an understanding about bracing for a deck. Now this is for rectangular decks only, but you can actually do any other shape as long as the length multiplied by the width actually equals the area of the deck. So if we use our little tool here, so we've got a deck 6 metres by 3.3 and earthquake zone 2 and a soil class which is rock, and click on your bracing requirements, this is going to give you information about the bracing required for a deck. So here we go. So the first section there is about bracing the 2 different directions, the longitudinal and the lateral direction, and how your bracing can be achieved. And finally the last section there is about the different bracing you can actually use to achieve this either through anchor piles or brace piles. Okay, so the next section is on durability. So this is all about what needs to be stainless steel and what needs to be galvanised, and some links at the bottom of the page to NZS 3604 about the durability section on the website, and the links to other resources as well. The next web page is on how can I build a deck myself. Now, it is actually quite a difficult subject because there's so many factors involved. There's factors involved like your skill level, if you're able to interpret drawings and technical documents as well, and also if your deck's more than 1.5 metres above the ground, well then you can't actually build your deck yourself. You need to have a licensed building practitioner. The next web page on using ROBO Deck Designer. Now, just wait for this to load. Yes, right, there's somebody there now. So this is just an overview of all the different website forms you need to fill in just to create a deck drawing. So they will be different depending on your deck, and another factor is that this website is constantly updated, so things may change from time to time, but it just gives you an overview on all the different forms that you would need to go through. Now the next one is site plans. So ROBO Deck Designer can actually create a site plan to go with your deck drawing. So the site plans are actually quite a bit involved, so it is admittedly a bit harder to create them, but there's so much information needs to go in there. There's information on the size of your house, the boundary dimensions and bearings as well, and also the relationship between your house and your boundary as well, and also things like what streets does your property face as well, and is there more than one of them. And also, I'll just wait for it to come up, down the bottom you can have also additional buildings on your property as well, like a sleep out or a garage as well, so site plans can actually cater for that as well. Now, editing a drawing is a real breeze with ROBO Deck Designer. Right, so it's loaded now. Now, if you've got a drawing and you want to change the size of the deck or change the style or something like the handrail, it's just so easy just to jump in there with your login details and just change the section, just go for the section that you want to change the details in, and just update your details, and your drawings are all updated and you can print them off just like that. Now the next section about miscellaneous. So just wait for that load. So this is about me. I'm actually passionate about what I do. So I've got a background in drafting and I really enjoy decks and also programming as well. So it's just combining the whole lot of it together. The terms and conditions, well, it's something that's really needed on the website. So just some minor information here. And also, I think Mr. Privacy Policy, okay, yeah, it's in there as well. Contact details. Now, this has got details about how to get hold of me, so there's a website form there plus my address as well. There's also email address at the top of the web page as well. And of course a site map. So just wait for that to load. Yeah, so all the different pages here on the web page, on the website, sorry. Thanks so much for watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe to the ROBO Deck Designer YouTube channel, and we'll catch you in the next video anyway. Thank you.